is one of the most difficult experiences we can go through in our lifetime. And in this video, I want to talk to you about the number one thing that you need to accept for you to start healing from heartbreak. What I know from experience is that the disappointment that we experience for losing the hopes and the dreams of what that relationship could have become is one of the most difficult things that we experience when a relationship ends. Because usually, most of the time, what happens when we are in a relationship, we have all of these hopes, we have all of these plans and dreams, and we start to project everything into the future and imagine a life together. So when the relationship comes to an end, we start to grieve all of that. There's nothing wrong with this. The only problem is that when we start to grieve this person as if he was the only person that we could have been happy with, this is when this relationship or this breakup becomes difficult to get over. Because when you acknowledge to yourself that there was nothing you could have done that would have stopped this relationship from ending, this meaning, this belief frees you from living in the sadness and in the grief of the amazing life, the amazing relationship that you could have had with that person. When we perceive that relationship as just, another lesson, another experience, another try, when we perceive it as an experience that we appreciate and learn from, but not be hostage to, things become much easier to process and to let go of. You know what? One of the most freeing realizations I've had is that if that person was your person, was the right person for you, you wouldn't have left. If that relationship was the right relationship for you, it wouldn't have ended. So the fact that this relationship has come to an end, that this person chose not to be with you, this is the only evidence that you need that this person is not the right guy for you. When you acknowledge this, when you accept this, you free yourself from holding on all of these lost hopes and dreams of the great life. I always say that when we go through an experience, we experience pain. But when we keep holding on to that pain, this is when it turns into suffering. And suffering is a state. It's actually a physical, mental, and emotional state that we keep living in when we keep experiencing the pain of the past over and over and over again, and we start to condition our minds and our bodies into that state of suffering. But when we let go, when we accept that this thing, the end of this relationship, this heartbreak is happening for your best, even when you don't realize it, even when you don't see the situation in its entirety, even if you don't know the exact reasons why all of this happens, your belief that everything happens for your best keeps you from staying or becoming a prisoner to the past. So the matter is that you don't know. You really do not know how your life would have turned into if you had continued to be with that person. How would you know? How could you possibly know? Maybe it was going to create more pain into your life, maybe it was going to cost you so much. So maybe that relationship ending right now happened for your best, so that you start looking deeper into what you really want to create in your life. Maybe this is your best chance and the best time for you to start breaking the cycle of unhealthy patterns, especially if you are someone who have an unhealthy attachment style like I was. I didn't even realize that I had an anxious attachment style until the end of a relationship. And I can't tell you how freeing and eye-opening it was. I started to see things for what they really are. I stopped putting people on a pedestal and I stopped putting myself down. I started to value myself more. I worked on myself becoming detached. In other videos, I talk a lot about detachment and how it really helps women with an anxious attachment style heal. I'm telling you, when we accept this present moment in its entirety with everything it brings to us, and we stop living in the fantasy of what could have happened, believe me, the peace and the freedom that you experience as a result of this acceptance is so addictive that you would not want to go back to how things used to be. I'm telling you, if you are going through heartbreak right now, a few weeks, a few months from now, you're going to have a different point of view. You are going to start seeing things with so much clarity, and sometimes you even start to realize, okay, well, I'm not sure what did I even like about that person. because what happens is that when we are in the relationship, we become so blinded by our feelings, by our emotions, and the habit of being around this person. It creates this low familiarity that we tend to not see people for who they truly are, but rather for who we so much want them to be. I'm telling you, with distance, with disassociating from this person emotionally, you're going to get so much clarity. I really hope you found some of this useful. Let me know in the comments if you do, and I'll talk to you in our next video. Take care of yourself.